start looking at our graphs of law of sines and cosines. So first we're going to redo our unit circle. And so that we can make spaghetti lengths out of it. Our goal at the end is to make a graph for the law of sines and the law of cosines. Okay, out of spaghetti. So we're going to start with doing this. Instead of cutting out the 45, 45, 90 triangle and 30, 60, 90 triangle again, we're just going to assume that we've got this and can do this again. I'm going to make my 30-degree central angles in red. You should write down what color they are so it's easier for you to get all of these. Okay? All right, so right here, you need some sort of straight edge as well. Works. So I'm going to make that's not very good. Let me fix that. Okay, so I'm going to make this better. You want this to be as accurate as possible so that your graph will look accurate. So I'm going to make my ones in red. So I'm going to draw a line straight down here. Yep. So this right here, this triangle, yeah? No, you shouldn't need a protractor. You might want a straight edge, but you could like use your phone or another piece of paper, or you can come up here and get a ruler, whatever. So this right here, this is 30 degrees, okay? The point at 30 degrees, the x value is square root 3 over 2. The y value is 1/2, okay? And the thing that we're going to learn, gentlemen, you need to be doing this right now. So this is worth points, so I would get it up, okay? Besides the fact that it's 30 degrees, it's also, we're going to talk about some radians. This is pi over 6. So 30 degrees is your degrees, pi over 6 is your radians. And we're going to have to look at both. Yeah. 30 degrees and pi over 6. Okay, now if we were to reflect this over the x-axis, we would get this right here. So we're going to draw a line that's straight up and down here. Gentlemen, shh. Okay, and instead of 30 degrees, this is like 180 minus 30 degrees, so this is 150 degrees. And it is 5 pi over 6. And the points at this one is negative square root 3 over 2, comma 1/2. All right, we are going to reflect that right here over the x-axis. And we get this triangle right here, which is 210 degrees. And it is 7 pi over 6. And its point is negative square root 3 over 2, negative 1/2. Am I going too fast, or you guys feel pretty good about it? We're going to take this one and reflect it over the y-axis. And we get this triangle right here. And this point right here, this is 330 degrees. And the radian is 11 pi over 6. And its points are square root 3 over 2, negative 1/2. Okay, I'm going to do my 45, 45, 90 ones in blue. Yeah. This is interesting because I want it zoomed in enough so you guys can see it, but wide enough so you can see more than one thing at once. So. Mm-hmm. Does it make sense that it's negative 1/2 because it's below? Does that work for you guys? Okay. Now we're going to do the 45, 45, 90 ones. So I'm going to trace this one up here. Harold, do you want to take that inverse quiz you're missing, or do you want to do this that we're doing right now? Okay, make sure you grab these 2 worksheets and 3 colored pencils. Okay, so this is 45 degrees, and it is also pi over 4. Okay, and it is square root 2 over 2 and square root 2 over 2. Yep. And 3 colored pencils. And I'm going to reflect that over the y-axis. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this one right here. And this is going to be 135 degrees. And it's going to be 3 pi over 4. And this is at negative square root 2 over 2 square root 2 over 2. Okay, you guys get it? It's the same thing as this, except it's negative. The x value is negative because it went to the left. Okay, I think the blue's a little bit hard to read, so if you can't read it, let me know. Now I'm going to reflect it over the x-axis. And I get this right here. And this is 225 degrees. And it is 5 pi over 4 is my radian. And its point right here is negative square root 2 over 2 and negative square root 2 over 2. And then I'm going to reflect that over my y-axis. And this angle right here is 315 degrees. And it is 7 pi over 4. And it is at square root 2 over 2, negative square root 2 over 2. And I'm going to move it up so you guys can see it. Okay, I'm going to move on to 60 degrees. Everybody good? Okay, 60 degrees is this one right here. I'm doing mine in brown. So that's 60 degrees, and it is pi over 3. And its points are 1/2 square root 3 over 2. Yeah, because we're doing radians. So radians are like all in pi. Okay, we're going to reflect it over the y-axis. And we get this right here. And this is 120 degrees. And it is 2 pi over 3. And its points are negative 1/2 square root 3 over 2. And then we'll reflect that over the x-axis. Okay. And this right here is 240 degrees. And it's 4 pi over 3. And its points are negative 1/2 negative square root 3 over 2. So we've got one more to go, and then I'm going to do the 4 big ones. 0, 90, 180, 270, 360. But 360 and 0 are the same. Okay? So again, I'm going to draw this triangle in. This is 300 degrees. And it is 5 pi over 3. And its points are 1/2 negative square root 3 over 2. Now I'm going to take out my pen. If you have a regular pencil, you can do that. And I'm going to add these in. Since we're down here already and some people are finishing those up, I'm going to do this one. This is 270 degrees. And it is 3 pi over 2. And its points are 0, negative 1. Going to move it a little bit to the side. This right here, this is 0 degrees, 360 degrees. It's, like 0 pi. And it is, the points are 1, 0. Okay, I'm going to move up to the top. This is 90 degrees. Pi over 2, and its points are 0, 1. And then the last one, guys. This is 180 degrees, or pi. 360 is also called 2 pi. I'll move back over to it. And it is pi, yep, and its points are negative 1, 0. 360 or 0 degrees is also called 2 pi. When it's 0 degrees, it's 0, but when it's 360, it's 2 pi. Okay, here's the fun part, and you guys are going to come pick up spaghetti in a second. I'll show you this in just a second. I got to do something with it, and then we'll do it. Okay, so you're going to be given this graph right here, and the first graph we're going to do today, we're going to do sine. Okay, so on this graph, and I'll leave it up here for you, we're going to do sine of x, which is your opposite over your hypotenuse. Okay? You'll, here, why don't I pass them out now so we can do this graph stuff together. So we're probably going to try to do the sine graph today, and we might get to the cosine graph on Monday. But you're going to take some of this, first you're going to label this stuff on your graph. So please pay attention because we're going to label this graph. Okay, so we want all of these points, and we're going to go up by 15 degrees. So this is 15, this is 30, this is 45, this is 75. Oop, I forgot 60. 60, 75, 90, and 90 is also known as pi over 2. Shh, you should be writing this down. Okay. This is 105, 120, 135, 150, 165, 180, and 180 is also known as pi. We've got 195, and then it should be 210, 225, 240, 255, 270, 285, 300. 165, 80, 195, 210, 225, 240, 255, 270, 285, 300, 315, 330, 345, and 360. 360 is 2 pi, and 270 is 3 pi over 2. Okay, so this is the graph we're going to glue or tape our, because glue is too hard with spaghetti. We're going to tape our spaghetti to it. So I'm going to do an example. So I'm going to look 15 degrees. 15 degrees is not on here, so we're going to skip that one. And we're going to go to 30 degrees. I'm going to give the height of 30 degrees because I'm doing sine, and sine has to do with the y value. So I'm going to break my spaghetti off right at, so it's the length of my 30 degrees. Then I'm going to take it. It is positive 30 degrees. Okay, the y value is positive, right? It says positive 1/2, so it goes above. So at 30 degrees, I'm above the graph, and I'm going to tape my piece of spaghetti down right at 30 degrees. Okay? Now, if it says negative, because your graph should go up and down, if it says negative, it should be below the graph. Okay? So you're going to do this, so you need to come get some tape. Here, I'll pass out the tape. You guys come get spaghetti.
I'm going to take your graph.
Yep, you can take my graph.